Ah, there we go.
Alright, good morning. We're going to talk about functions of oil this morning. Why is it important that we have oil in our engine? I mean, do we have to have it? Absolutely. But why? What does it do? What are all the reasons we have it? Why are there so many different kinds? 15, 40, 10, 30, 30 weight, synthetic, non-synthetic, conventional, blends. They're crazy. Alright, we're going to get into all of that throughout the time frame. Today we're just going to talk about the main primary purposes: lubrication, heat reduction, and cleaning. And before I say anything else, I'm going to have a handout for you. We're going to have a little video. I'll give you the handout, and we're going to talk about it. We've got a couple things for y'all to play with. And so, get this video going.
One function of a lubrication system is to reduce friction. Friction occurs between all surfaces in contact. When moving surfaces come together, friction tends to slow them down. Sometimes that's just what's wanted. Friction can be useful, but it can also cause serious damage. It can make metal parts so hot they melt and fuse together. When that happens, an engine is said to have seized. How long an engine lasts depends to a large extent on how well it's lubricated, especially at the points of extreme loading. So lubrication reduces unwanted friction and controls where it is useful. It reduces wear on moving parts. Clearances fill with oil so that engine parts move or float on layers of oil instead of directly on each other. Much less power is needed to move them, and that's a plus. It helps cool an engine. It collects heat from the engine, then returns it to the sump where it cools. It helps absorb shock loads. A power stroke can suddenly put as much as 2 tons of force on main bearings. Layers of oil cushion this loading. Hydrodynamic suspension is the term that describes the oil supporting the rotating components, such as the crankshaft. Oil is also a cleaning agent. It collects particles of metal and carbon and carries them back to the sump. Larger pieces fall to the bottom.
Alright, now, first and foremost is obviously lubrication. Okay? Why is that important? Somebody give me an idea. Why is it important to lubricate it?
Keeps it from overheating.
Keeps it from overheating, right? Alright. Now, when we're lubricating, we're going to help make things move easier, right? And the easier things move, the faster they can move, and the less effort it takes to move, correct? So with less effort being required to move something, that saves power from the engine, right? So the more power we can save the engine from having to work and operate, the more we can put to the ground, right? And the more we can put to the ground, the faster we can go. So we want to go faster, right? So now, also, not only can we go faster, but we can pull more weight. So I know a lot of us, or some of us, have like heavy loads or something like that, move hay, cattle, whatever the case may be. So, if we lubricate it, it moves easier, it moves faster. Now, also, we can go faster, move more weight, but since it's for saving power, we're using less fuel, so we get better fuel economy. So that's a big plus, right? I mean, if I can go from 15 miles to the gallon to 20 miles to the gallon just by proper oil maintenance, that's worth it, isn't it? Spending $50 to change your oil versus all of that over duration for fuel. Yeah, so that's really worth it. Now, to kind of give you an idea to help you understand the little lubrication process, I want somebody that's pretty strong. Who's pretty strong? Who's strong? Not afraid to get your hand dirty. Come here. Alright, here's what we're going to do. Now, we've got a couple of metal objects here, right? So, just like in an engine, we got metal objects running on each other, correct? Alright, just take these two bad boys right here. Don't smash your fingers. Now, push them together as hard as you can and slide them. Right? Okay, so we got some regular old 1030 oil. Put one of them down for me here. We can put the oil on it. There you go. Now, I'm going to drill some out here. Now, bear in mind that actual engine oil systems are pressurized. Okay? So what that means is it's not just oil sitting there, but it's oil that's being pumped and flowing at a pressure. Okay? So it's going to be a little bit different, but you can kind of get the idea here of kind of what helps to reduce friction. We got towels here so you can wipe your hands off. Alright, now go ahead and do that same thing again. A little bit easier, right?
Yes, sir.
Alright, go ahead and set those down for me. There you go. Wipe the oil off your hands. Appreciate it. You have a seat. So it makes it easier. Y'all can see that. It makes sense. Just kind of like when you're got like non-sticking stuff for cooking. You know, you put something in the pan, a little grease, a little stick, whatever, helps keep it from sticking. Same thing. Okay. Now, additionally, with this lubrication, it helps reduce heat, right? So how are we helping reduce heat? All right. What happens when you rub two metal parts together at high pressure, under load, real fast? What's it going to do? It's going to build friction, right? Build heat. Okay. So if we got this lubrication process and they're reducing all of that, it's going to reduce heat on it. Okay. So what happens to metal parts over time when you get a lot of pressure and heat on it? They melt or weld or fuse together, right? So that's bad, right? You got something that's moving, a couple thousand RPMs or more, and suddenly it gets stuck. Things break, and that's expensive. We don't want that out in the middle of nowhere. Now we need somebody to come get us. So oil is important for that. Reduces heat. Also, in the heat reduction process, if you got a hot object and you need to cool it off, what are you going to do? Run water or something over it, right? So oil does kind of the same thing. Okay, because it's flowing, it runs over the object. It can help absorb heat from all the combustion processes and stuff like that developing in the cylinder block, and it comes back down to the oil pan or the sump. Now, when you're driving, air blows across it and helps cool it off. This is not a substantial amount of heat, but it's a little bit, okay? The cooling system does the bulk of the work, but it is a little bit. Now, shock loads. This is kind of the fun part. Shock loads on an engine. What that is, when the explosion happens from the combustion, it forces the piston down to connect the rod to the crankshaft. Okay, it's all connected together. Now, when that happens, it'll be hitting like this. Okay, we don't want that, do we? That does damage. Metal parts slamming on each other with up to 2 tons of force. That's a lot. Okay, so now this little thin layer of pressured oil absorbs and dissipates that load and keeps everything from smashing each other. So that's pretty. To me, in my mind, that's pretty amazing. Additionally, as a cleaning agent, okay, from any metal particles that may develop from just wear or contact, because there's still going to be a little bit, it flushes that out. Because if we didn't flush out that and carbon buildup, which is burnt oil or combustion oil, gases and air, little carbon pieces of, almost metal, basically, that floats around inside the engine. And if that didn't get moved out of the way, flushed out of the way, it would sit there and grind. Okay, if you ever take coarse sand in your hand and rub it, or you're under your feet and you got rocks or something, it's real abrasive. Okay, so that would wear the engine out. Okay, and things will not last. So oil helps flush that down. Now, like it says in the video, the big stuff falls into the sump or the pan, and the smaller stuff gets caught up in an oil filter. And I've got a couple of oil filters cut up here, and I've cut it open. And you can see, especially on this end, kind of see the little shiny reflective there. Y'all see that? That's pieces of metal that have been caught by this oil filter. And they're in every engine. And that's part of the reason right here on this end, you can kind of see the little bitty shiny speck. Look kind of like glitter. I promise it's not glitter though. Check it out. You see it in there? Get out the line a little bit. There you go. See it? Yeah. So this is why the oil filter is important. Okay. I personally recommend getting a good one. Okay. Whichever one's good, I'll let you make your own determination. But so that's what we have. Okay. Major parts of oil lubrication. What the oil does, it reduces friction, helps lubricate the system. Okay. Absorbs shock loads, helps cool the engine, reduces heat. Not only through transference of heat, absorbing it, but also in allowing that lubrication to happen. And it helps clean the engine by flushing it out. Okay. Anybody got a question? Everybody good with that? Everybody understand now why, well, what it does and why it's important?
Yes, sir.
All right, good job.